For decades, the story of human origins followed a straightforward sequence. The scientific consensus pointed to a single cradle of humanity in East Africa, producing the first anatomically modern humans roughly 200,000 years ago. That established timeline began to unravel because of a chance discovery. In the 1960s, miners working in a barite mine at Jebel Irhoud, Morocco, stumbled across a fossilized human skull. At the time, scientists interpreted the remains as a North African variation of a Neanderthal, dating them to a relatively recent 40,000 years ago. The site remained an anomaly until paleoanthropologist Jean-Jacques Hublain led a new excavation in 2004. His team uncovered additional human fossils buried alongside sophisticated Middle Stone Age artifacts. These artifacts presented a glaring contradiction. They were crafted using a meticulous prepared core technique to strike off specific, highly refined flakes. This advanced method of toolmaking did not align with the younger dating of the fossils, indicating that the initial assessment of the site's age was flawed. The evidence from this North African cave system upended the timeline of our origins and challenged the geography of human history. The breakthrough in determining the true age of the Jebel Irhoud fossils came not from the bones themselves, but from the tools found alongside them, specifically flint that had been burned in ancient campfires. To extract a precise date from these artifacts, researchers used thermoluminescence dating. When stone is intensely heated by a fire, the high temperatures reset an internal geological clock. By measuring the light emitted when reheated in a lab, scientists calculate exactly how much time has passed since that original campfire burned out. The lab results dated the campfire, and therefore the archaeological layer containing the human fossils, to roughly 315,000 years ago. This temporal jump doubled the accepted age of Homo sapiens. It relocated the oldest known physical evidence of our species out of the East African Rift Valley and into the northwest corner of the continent. If populations were already thriving across the continent over 300,000 years ago, we have to ask when and where the distinct traits that make us human actually assembled. The Jebel Irhoud fossils reveal a striking anatomical contradiction. Their facial structures were relatively flat and delicate, falling well within the modern human range. But their brain cases were elongated, low, and slightly flattened. This mix of modern and archaic features is an example of mosaic evolution. Becoming human was a piecemeal assembly of traits over hundreds of thousands of years, where specific features like a modern face developed long before the high, rounded skull shape we have today. The Jebel Irhoud discovery supports the Pan-African network hypothesis. Researchers propose that early Homo sapiens emerged simultaneously across vast stretches of South, East, and North Africa, with varying physical traits developing in widespread, distinct populations. Paleoclimate data shows these groups were not entirely isolated. During periods roughly 300,000 years ago, massive climatic shifts created a green Sahara, where the desert transformed into fertile grasslands and expansive river systems. These sprawling green zones opened up continental highways. The hospitable environments allowed distant populations to migrate, intermingle, and share vital survival strategies, like complex toolmaking and the controlled use of fire. The biological and technological markers of our species were forged across a massive network. Early Homo sapiens were part of a diverse, interconnected phenomenon evolving in a shared melting pot. As this continental network flourished, some populations migrated beyond Africa far earlier than previously believed. In Israel's Misliya cave, scientists recovered a modern human jawbone that dates back nearly 200,000 years. Finds further east add layers of complexity. At a site in India, archaeologists uncovered advanced stone tools, utilizing the exact same meticulous preparation techniques seen in Africa, but dated to 385,000 years ago, though we lack the fossils to confirm exactly who crafted them. The environments connecting these regions were often accommodating. During wetter climate phases, the Arabian Peninsula featured lush lakes and grasslands, serving as a long-term hub where early populations from Africa and potentially Asia lived and adapted for millennia. Genetic data reveals these ancient travel routes flowed in multiple directions. Distinct archaeological and genetic markers indicate that some early Eurasian populations eventually migrated back into Africa, mixing with the groups already established there. Early human migration functioned as a continuous loop of intercontinental exchange, with populations radiating outward and flowing back together over thousands of generations. Within Africa, this mixing extended to different hominin lineages. The Iwo Elaru skull found in Nigeria is only 13,000 years old, yet it possesses a primitive bone structure that looks entirely different from other modern humans living at that same time. The physical evidence of this coexistence is corroborated by modern genetics. DNA analysis of contemporary West African populations reveals that up to 19% of their genome contains genetic material from an unknown source. Scientists refer to this as ghost DNA. It is a genetic signature inherited from a completely unidentified archaic hominin species that split off from our direct ancestors hundreds of thousands of years ago. Early populations of Homo sapiens coexisted, interacted, and interbred with older, archaic species, permanently absorbing their genetic legacy into our modern genome. This timeline leaves a significant paradox. If anatomically early humans were widespread across Africa and pushing into the Middle East 300,000 years ago, we must investigate why the global expansion of our species didn't occur until roughly 60,000 years ago. For long stretches of history, environmental barriers penned early populations in. The fertile Sahara repeatedly dried out into an impassable desert, while harsh glacial periods in Eurasia created deeply inhospitable climates for groups adapted to warmer zones. To bypass those barriers, early humans needed new capabilities. Between 75,000 and 55,000 years ago, sites across southern Africa reveal a sudden flourishing of innovation, highlighted by artifacts like this engraved piece of ochre, a marker of abstract, symbolic thought. Alongside these early artistic expressions, populations invented finely crafted bone spearheads, developed systematic marine fishing, and established long-distance exchange networks for crucial raw materials. These cognitive and social advancements allowed early humans to extract significantly more resources from their environments. That increased efficiency supported larger, more stable populations, providing the demographic momentum necessary to finally sustain long-distance expansion across the globe. The archaeological record and modern genetics have replaced the linear model of human evolution. Our ancestry involves lineages that repeatedly adapted in isolation before flowing back together to exchange genes and technologies. Scientists now describe human history as a braided stream, where early human lineages constantly split apart, isolated, and rejoined. When looking up this vast, interconnected network, attempting to pinpoint the exact century or single cave where we became fully human is an impossible task. Modern humans are the product of an intercontinental mosaic, a tapestry of physical traits and behaviors assembled across hundreds of thousands of years.